Welcome to Easy Peasy Books, From Author to Authority, the lively and engaging podcast for business professionals who've always believed they have a book in them. I'm your host, Jillian Whitney. Join me as I chat with authors and industry experts from all around the world to explore simple strategies to write, publish, and leverage your business book. Whether you're an entrepreneur, executive, or an employee, this podcast is for you. Woohoo! And we're live again on another Tuesday. I have Jeff Young in the house today, the LinkedIn guru, and we are talking about writing to serve, not sell. So before we get into our topic, Jeff, can you just go ahead and tell people who you are and what you do?
All right. Well, thank you, first of all, for having me back on the live. It's been a while, and we're setting kind of a milestone here as well, because the pre-recorded last week had me on it, and now this week's got me on it. Like, I don't think you've ever done a live that had the same person on two weeks in a row, right?
No.
I must be doing something right. So anyway, I'm very lucky to have that happen. So namaste, everybody. My name is Jeff Young. My network calls me the LinkedIn guru. If you look guru up in the dictionary, you see the word teacher, okay? And that's exactly what I've been doing for LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, for the last 17 years. I've been teaching LinkedIn. That means about 1,000 different seminars, over 20,000 different people, without even taking into account the ripple effect. And I just love to teach, and that's why I'm here. I also sometimes introduce myself by saying, hi, I'm Jeff Young. I'm a teacher. What's your superpower? Okay. Got to do it again, right? I got a gift with that you created for me with that. I love that thing.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So you are also, if I can get this looking right, You are the author of this book, Be Effective on LinkedIn with the LinkedIn Guru. I'll have you know, I traveled to Las Vegas and I brought this book with me because I wanted to make sure I had it for the show. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. So tell us a little bit about your book, because your book is another way that you give back. And we'll get into the pricing and all that stuff for, later. But tell everybody what this book is about in the first place.
Well, okay. First of all, I have to give credit where credit is due. If it was not for you and Devin Whitney, this book would not exist and would not have seen the light of day in the first place. Okay. You came to me and I was so surprised because a lot of people had asked me before. I mean, you were one of the people who asked me. A lot of people asked me before, Jeff, why don't you write a book about LinkedIn? You're very knowledgeable about LinkedIn. Why don't you write a book? And I went, well, I kind of have written a book. Okay. And I said, one of the reasons I never wrote a book about LinkedIn is that my focus on how I would write a book about LinkedIn would be a how-to book, which would mean step one, do this, step two, do this, step three, et cetera. Right. Well, the problem with that is that LinkedIn changes so frequently that would be out of date in about 2 weeks. Okay. So the challenge was, and the reason I never wrote a book in the past was the fact that it just wasn't going to work from an obsolescence standpoint. But you came to me and said, Jeff, I've got an idea about how you can write a book, and I want to be your publisher. Which I went, well, I'm not even sure I would have needed a publisher, but you had a method to your madness as well, because you said, well, we can go through and you can self-publish. We'll teach you how. We'll take you through the step-by-step process to self-publish on Amazon. And I'm going, okay, that sounds fine to me. And then we started the process. And that's the real story of this whole kind of thing, is it was a step-by-step process. One of the things I think that differentiates you from all the other people out there that are publishers or help people with the publishing process, Jillian, is that you never made it about you. You always made it about me, your client. You walked me through it every step of the way. You never, ever made a decision that was a part of the process without asking me first, what do you think? And usually it was an informed decision that I could make, because you or Devin would come to me with 5 options, and you would explain each one of those 5 options. And then I would go, I think I like number 3 best. Let's go with that one, right? But that was a part of the process. And that's how that worked. and that's why I think it's worked out well for me to be a part of me so first of all, it's a legacy. Okay. Let me finish this up very quickly because I don't want to take up too much time talking and not let you talk as well. But the second thing was that it's a legacy. The second thing is it's a legacy. The second thing is that I didn't want to make money with it. Okay. You knew that was a part of my brand as well. I wanted to do this just for the same standpoint of service, not sales. Okay. And thirdly, it was a legacy. It was something that I wanted to continue on and be there forever and ever and make it an evergreen project as well. And that I think we accomplished that. I really am very pleased with how it turned out.
Yay, yay. It truly was a success story because I know that, I always go back to the point, and we actually talked about this in the live last week, and that when I first met you, it was just like, what's this guy trying to sell me? Nothing. That's the thing about you, Jeff, is that you're not salesy because you have nothing to sell and you're really just here to help. And so your book is a way that you can help people. And when we kind of talked about this project, I just saw that this would allow you to kind of like 10x what you do and that you could like get out to more people because, yes, people can read an article, they can watch a webinar, they can watch a Zoom, but there's something about having all of the knowledge in one compact thing that we could read on a train, a plane, and the automobile, at the beach, whatever. There's something about a book. And there's also the fact, Jeff, that I knew that in the past you have done webinars and podcasts worldwide to countries where English is not the first language. And so this also, especially the Kindle version, allows you to get out to other countries. And one of the things that I recently learned is that India does not have the ability to have print on demand books. I did not know this. I only knew this because I was talking with somebody from India and they said they had read your book. And it was just like they'd read your book because they had the Kindle version. And so this is really important to people. If you want that sort of global worldwide effect, think of the ebook because in some countries, that might be the only way they can get it. Yeah. And then, of course, think of the paperback or hardback or whatever you wanted to do. So again, that was one of the decisions we came to you with is like, Jeff, do you just want to do Kindle? Do you want to do paperback too? And every step of the publishing process, like you said, is based on decisions. And thank you for the compliment because Devin and I really believe that people should be empowered before, during, and after the publishing process and not be like, okay, I wonder if I can, raise the price of my book or lower my price. I'll have to ask the publisher. No, you need to have the keys and do it yourself.
Well, it made perfect sense because honestly, the way you started the process was, I've got an idea. Would you be okay with this idea? You never forced me to go anywhere I didn't want to go. Okay. You basically said, if you want to publish a book, I'll help you publish a book. And that was brilliant. I mean, it was wonderful because we talked through the process every step of the way. And by the way, speaking of compliments, okay, I want to make sure that a lot of people who are going to know me are also going to know you on this call. Okay. So I've got something that I'm going to ask people who know me and know you to do. Okay. Not now, but when this call is over, or if you see this on a replay, okay, go out to Jillian's profile, scroll down to her skills section, and do what I was the first person to do. Endorse her for publishing. You just added publishing to your LinkedIn profile not too long ago, apparently, because I hadn't seen it. Okay. I went down and I was the first person to endorse you for publishing. I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of the fact that I could repay you another way by actually endorsing you for that skill as well, because you are very skilled at it.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you. That was very kind. And yes, anybody wants to do that too. That's great. That's great. So Jeff, let's kind of go back to some of the things why one of the decisions that we talked about in the publishing process, once we, number one, you just have to get the book right. So that's everything from content and editing and proofreading. And then there's a cover design. And I know you were even like, what? There's one cover for the paperback and a different one for the Kindle. There's a lot of decisions that had to be made at that juncture. Then when we got to the publishing part, it was like, okay, do you want paperback or Kindle, or do you want both, the ebook when I say Kindle? We talked about, do you want to be on Amazon or do you want to be on other ones? And we talked about Amazon was just the best fit for you. You didn't want to go wide. You were happy with being on Amazon. And so then that led to the decision of, number one, pricing and royalties. So we had to have a lot of discussion about how you do that, because as much as you'd like to, you can't just give your books away on Amazon. Amazon's there to make money, so you have to work within their constraints. But we actually did hit a calculator and figured out how you could basically sell your book, the paperback edition, for the cheapest possible price, because we did the math and we got that all done. But we also enrolled you in something called KDP Select. And that is an exclusive tool that is only on Amazon. You don't have it with, Drafted Digital, and you don't have it with, for the life of me, all the other programs, Ingram Spark. You don't have it on those other programs, just Amazon. And so let's talk a little bit about that, because I think it's really important. So it's a 90-day period. It's totally optional. You don't have to sign up for it. Many people don't. Many people do. And one of the things that you can do, which is relevant today, is you can have a free book promotion. So do you feel able that you could talk about the free book promotion?
Yeah. Obviously, you knowing me the way that you know me would be, that if it was at all possible, I would just give the book away. Okay, that's where I want it to be. I was not interested in selling it, but Amazon can't do that. Okay, but Amazon can do, through the KDP Select process, allow you to do promotions on the book, make it cheaper for a certain amount of time, or you can pick up to 5 days within a 90-day period that you can make the Kindle version of it completely free, which is what I did for today, by the way. Anyone who's watching this, please, if you watched this far, please go out and you can have a free version of the book today for as far as the ebook is concerned. Now, again, the pricing process was exactly what it needed to be. We also said that, I need to make this as cheap as possible. So let's make it as cheap as possible for the paperback as well. And literally, I would bet that on your recent trip to Canada, you spent more on a Timmy Hortons coffee than you would spend on my paperback book. Okay, because of the fact that it's no more than $3.99 from here until eternity. So
right, and Amazon has to print it. They have to print it, so that $3.99 is not what you get. It's like, I think your profit is 60 cents or something. It was like,
if I've been in it for the royalties, I did it wrong. Okay. Well, because of the fact that Amazon also, by the way, here's another really nice feature about this whole process is Amazon, when the royalties are done, they'll ship you the monthly royalties. You give them an account to add it to. So the royalties just automatically get deposited in my checking account. By the way, at the end of the year, they also, because of the IRS in the United States, have to report that as income for you. Excuse me. I will tell you that I won't give you the price, okay, that I saw. But let's put it this way. I paid a whole lot more sending the book to the people that I acknowledged in the book than I ever got as far as royalties is concerned at the end of the year. So again, that was a part of the process. And the KDP process is a step-by-step process that you led me through that allowed me to make the decisions every single time. For example, one of the decisions that's a part of that process is, we talked about this a little bit earlier, one of the decision points is, what categories do you want your book to be in the first place? And there's a balancing act here somewhere that says, well, you have to be true to what the book is really about, but you also have to maybe try to pick a category where you're not where you're not the small fish in the big pond, as I think you've described it before, so that I'm not going up against all kinds of other people that are huge authors. Look, if I was trying to compete with J.K. Rowling, I wouldn't write a LinkedIn book. Let's put it that way. So that part of the process, and the great part about it was that you and Devin brought me the possibilities of this, and here are 10 possibilities as far as the categories are concerned. Let's see which ones you want to pick, and we narrowed it down to 3. And because we narrowed it down to 3, that's one of the reasons that I was actually able to be number 1 in one of those categories. So I can actually officially claim that I'm a best-selling Amazon author. I never thought I was ever going to say those words. Really never did.
Yes,
I did.
And it's nice that it's in a relevant category. It's like I always tell people, you don't want to pick like knitting your books about LinkedIn, but on the same token, there's not a LinkedIn category. So sometimes you have to think, is it going to be job search? Is it going to be business and careers? There's so many different things. So there's a lot to think about when you're choosing those categories. And it's really nice that Amazon gives you 3. And then on top of that, you can choose 7 keywords, which is kind of where you're doing a little bit of SEO, because essentially Amazon is a search engine, just like LinkedIn has a search engine, and Amazon, and Google has a search engine. So people are going to Amazon and they're typing in looking for books. So LinkedIn, we wanted that to be one of your keywords as well. So, thinking about all those different things really makes sense.
It made a huge difference. And for me, again, the decision for me was, to some degree, I really wanted to niche myself into at least 2 categories, one of which is career development, anything that has to do with job seekers. Excuse me, because 60% of the seminars I do are focused on job seekers. And then secondly, the second one is business, because of the fact that this is a business platform. This is LinkedIn is a platform where a lot of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs come, and a lot of people are actually using LinkedIn as a way of making money. Okay, not me, but a lot of people are, and that made sense for me to tell those people how to be effective, because the same advice that I would get to a job seeker also applies to someone who wants to run a business on LinkedIn. It really does.
Yes. So with KDP Select, we've talked about you get the free book promos. You get 5. We talked about that you get 5 in a 90-day period. You can put them all together. You can split them up. Right. You talked about how you can schedule them. So that's kind of nice to know that you can schedule them. So you're not waiting till midnight to turn something on. So that's nice. So you knew in advance you were going to be on my show. You I think set this all up last week. So that's really nice. That's right. How that works. There's also something called the Kindle Countdown, and Jeff's not qualified for it because his book is too cheap. He's selling his book at the cheapest price possible. The ebook is 99 cents. You can't go lower than that with Amazon. But if your book is like $2.99, I think up to $24.99, you can do what's called a Kindle Countdown, where you say, okay, for the next 5 days, I want my book to, basically be on sale, and it shows the original price, the sale price. So maybe your book is like $12.99 and you want to bring it down to $2.99 or something like that. And then you see the original price, the sale price, and a little clock. And it kind of shows people there's a deal. So a lot of people like that. That's kind of a cool way. It's, kind of a good promo. And then the third thing, which I think has really benefited a lot of the people that you are in your tribe, Jeff, is what's called Kindle Unlimited, which is a subscription service that people who are Amazon customers, you don't get it just because you're Prime or anything. It's for readers. It's for power readers. And I think it's $11.99 a month. You can read as many books as you want for as long as you want. You can check out 20 at a time. You can also check out magazines. They don't even count towards the 20. And so think of it as having like a digital library that like never expires. So if you can read a book in 2 days, or you can take 2 weeks, or you can take 2 months. So It's a great thing. Yeah. And so a lot of people have told you, Jeff, that they've actually read your book because your book is automatically put into the Kindle Unlimited program, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, it's free to anyone who's got that. And everybody's familiar with something like a Netflix or a Paramount Plus or whatever, right? This is a digital program for movies, right? Well, why wouldn't there? Why shouldn't there be one for books as well? So that's what Amazon Kindle Unlimited is about. And that just means that it's zero cost if you take the subscription price. Matter of fact, one of the things that I've done slightly different, not on Kindle Unlimited, but Audible, for example, is a product of Amazon. Is owned by Amazon. So what I do is I have an actual, and have had for years, an Audible subscription because I like to read books with my ears. Okay. So I have an Audible subscription. I just pay a monthly fee, and then I can go out there and I can get my book for free. It actually, accumulates credits. Okay. So I can have credit to that. So all this is a part of just basically saying that it might be worthwhile for you if you're a voracious reader that you might want, and you don't mind reading the ebooks. Okay, you might want to go ahead and get Kindle Unlimited because Kindle Unlimited makes it zero cost for you forever. Okay,
yes,
as long as you're paying the subscription.
Yes, and if you just go to Amazon and you look at any book, then if you just see Kindle Unlimited underneath the Kindle, then you know that that's included. So, maybe pick some of your favorites, Harry Potter, whatever, go look at it. I'm sure it's so many are in the program. And here's kind of an interesting thing. You actually, I love this, is that sometimes when you give, you get. And Amazon actually gives authors an incentive for even being in this program. Number one, you actually get paid on the Kindle Unlimited because it counts for page reads. So if somebody downloads your book through Kindle Unlimited and they read, the whole book, 100 pages, whatever, you get paid per page of what they read. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. And then on top of that, you also get it counts as a sale. So it counts towards your sales rank as well. So even though you don't get paid the royalty for the sale, it counts as a download. So you could all of a sudden, how did I become a bestseller this month? I didn't sell anything. It's because a bunch of people read it on Kindle Unlimited. Maybe you only needed 7 sales in in one day, and then you're back in the bestseller category. And when you're in a bestseller category, Amazon's now showing your book to more people. So it kind of ripples out, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, and again, it really fits my brand from the standpoint is because if people have gone to the trouble of getting a Kindle Unlimited subscription, it's free. It's free. I'm all about free. Okay. I love it.
Right. So speaking of people, let me hop over and show some of the people who are joining us today. Yay, Debbie. Hey, did I beat someone to the front row? Yes, you did. Only because Jeff is on the show today.
She knows that. Her next comment is about the fact that, oh yeah, Jeff's on the stage.
I hope you left her some snacks. And so she says, oh, wait, Jeff is the guest. So thank you for being with us today, Debbie. Carrie says, hello from Arizona and happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining us today, Carrie. Thank you for being here. And Debbie says she's from West Palm Beach. She's bringing in the Sunshine State today for us. We have Al Smith, who you just met prior to our call today.
She's talking with Al.
Yep. And so he's coming in from Atlanta. So thank you, Al. We have Linda Jane Turner, who's coming in from Prague. So we're all over today. David is coming in. I believe David's in Texas. So he's holding up the Texas portion. So he says, good afternoon. High demand, Jeff. Yay. I love that. And Yolanda says, good morning, everybody. And I can't remember where Yolanda's coming in from, but I'm thinking it's somewhere back east. I'm in Las Vegas, so everything's Arizona's back east RV today. And she says, hello, Jillian and Jeff. Yay. We have Matthew here, and he says, hello, all. Thank you for joining us, Matthew. Ivan says, good afternoon. Good to see you, Jeff, a.k.a. Superpower. And your superpower really is being a teacher. It really is.
I'm so glad to see some of the folks that I actually took the time to invite to this thing actually showed up. That's very kind.
I love this. I love this. And David is saying about the book. So I guess it relates to his previous and we love David. He's always here. Lori says teamwork makes dream work. I love that. That's nice. And she also puts in a plug for servant leadership. And you are a leader. You are a leader. I just want to ask you, Jeff, do you think like a lot of people would just be like, it's hard to market your book, like that's the hardest part. You write the book, that's one thing. You publish the book, and now you got to market the book, and you have to basically you got to let people know. It's like sometimes we publish a book and we're like, okay, I told everybody it launched, but you got to keep reminding it. Do you find it's easier because you are keeping it at a low cost?
No, not necessarily. I think you still have to do it. I really have not. The story for me is that we didn't really do a launch of the book. That probably would be one thing I would change. I'd actually do something that would be a launch of the book, but it just launched on a particular day, and I posted about it, etc. But the key is that I've only posted about 2 other times. So the book's been out now about 8 months, and I've only posted about it 3 times. So I'm not really marketing it that well. This was a great opportunity to let people know about the book again. So I thank you for that. That's good because every time I do something like this, it'll help get the book out there. But more than anything else, to me, I'm not looking at it as events in a marketing plan. I'm looking at it as a ongoing marketing plan. So, for example, I'm doing the same kind of things that you are. Your books, okay, all of your 5, I think it is now, 6, I don't know, I lost count. It's getting up there. Okay. Your 5 or 6 books are on your background banner. So that people can see you're an author 5, 6 times, right? Well, I did the same thing. My background banner has a check out my book, and here it is, okay? The book, okay, the one. And it also, by the way, is a part of the process that on an ongoing basis, anyone who actually comes to my profile, just the same as yours, is going to see a link to my book in my featured section right up front, okay? The only thing that supplanted that was the announcement for this live, okay? And the announcement for the live will disappear, but now the book will stay up there as well, right? And by the way, there was another thing that you and I have been in common as far as our featured section is concerned. This is how you can actually help yourself market the book on an ongoing basis, right? One of the other things that you and I both have is a video from Rebecca Wilson that talks about our book, okay, in our featured section as well, okay? And as a matter of fact, in the place where it says in my experience, where it has the actual profile role of author, okay, her review is the very first thing that's in that as far as the media is concerned, because I really want people to see what she said about my book. There's no better recommendation that I could get than what she said in such detail about my book.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So let me ask you, so you have your 5 free days for the 90-day period. And by the way, KDP Select, which Jeff is enrolled in, it renews every 90 days, but at any time, Jeff could opt out and say, you know what, I've decided I want to go wider. So Jillian, let's talk about Drafted Digital because I want to get out to Barnes & Noble and yada, yada, yada. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could. But it's nice to know that you could turn it off and you don't have to stay in it. You do have to fulfill your current 90 days and then you're on. So you've got your 5 days. So Jeff, maybe you could give people some ideas of when are you making your book free? When do you do it? Do you just wake up one morning or events like this? What are you doing?
I think it's best if you've got a plan for that as well, a marketing plan. So one of the days it's free is today. Okay. In a month, the Al and Mindy show that I watched this morning, I'll be on Mindy's actual session as well, to talking about Stump the Guru. Okay. And that'll be May 6th. So I'll make the book. I've already put it in there today. May 6th, the book will be free as well. That way I can tell anybody who wants to go out and do it. So make it match to events that really triggers something, like maybe even a post. It could be just a post, but part of that post should say that, oh yeah, by today, today only, come and get it. It's free. Okay. And I think that's the best way to process through that. It really is all about making the book available and making people know that the book is available. But for me, it's also about not charging for the book and getting the book out there to as many people as possible for free, so I can help as many people as possible as well.
I love that. And that's just, that to me is like when we talk about our topic, which is writing to serve and not sell. Your whole idea was I wanted my book to just be out there helping people, getting, and the very fact that, again, this was another choice that, we made when we were helping you publish was you could just have gone to Amazon.com, but we told you, would you like to go worldwide, and your book will be in their currency. You don't have to do the math. You don't have to collect the taxes. And, there's just so many things. And you just go, it's so easy. It's so easy.
Yeah. Well, easy peasy is the way you want you want things to, and you are such a champion of easy peasy and so good at it. And again, I know we're getting close to the end of things here today. So really to sum things up, I think my advice to people would be, look, don't do this on your own. Check it out. Call somebody. I have forwarded many people already to Jillian and Devin to say, if you're thinking about publishing a book, talk to this lady, okay? Because you are someone who's now been through the process yourself plenty of times and helped many other people go through the process as well. And I can't thank you enough for that, because that made it so easy for me. And the other part about that was, again, and I think this is the key to this entire process, is I want to reiterate the fact that you and Devin never made a decision without involving me in the decision. It was never about what you could do for me. It was about what you could do with me. And I was a part of the process and part of every decision that needed to be made. And I thank you again for that as well.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And I have to say, it was amazing to finally see your book in print and, just see that it is here forever. There's something so tangible about having a book in your hand, and you just think at any moment LinkedIn could I don't know, not that it would be sold or anything, but it's like when you have a digital asset that is only up in a social media space, something could happen and it'd be gone and you'd be like, oh my gosh. But it's like to have all of your knowledge in one book and you can just keep it away. That's awesome. So I hope people will, I don't have the thing to throw up in I wasn't organized enough today, but it's in a comment. Oh,
the book link.
Yeah. The book link is in a comment. You can just go to Amazon.com and, just look for Be Effective on LinkedIn. Right. If you look for Jeff Young, you're not going to find it. So that's the interesting thing. Jeffrey Young. So you have to do that. Yeah. There we go. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Jeff. It was awesome. The time just flew by, as it always does. And we appreciate all the people that tuned in today. We will continue to answer all your comments and questions. So please keep plugging them in. And everybody who is tuning in today, please take advantage of this incredible opportunity to get Jeff's book for free, Kindle version.
Go get your own or tell your friends.
That's right. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Thanks, Jerry. Namaste.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Easy Peasy Books, From Author to Authority. If you found value in today's episode, I'd be grateful if you could leave us a review. It helps other aspiring authors discover our podcast. To learn more about writing, publishing, and leveraging your business book, visit my website at easypeasybooks.com.